right, guys. Today's Bible story is one of my all-time favorites. But first, let's address the question that hopefully you had time to get to in your groups just now. Gavin, has there ever been something you asked your parents for growing up that was just like, there's no way they're gonna give me this, but they actually did? Like for your birthday or Christmas?
I don't know. I think we've talked about this, but we're both drummers.
That's right.
I asked for a drum set when I was a kid, like when I was in junior high, and I was like, no, that's way too big. It's noisy. It's kind of pricey. But there's no way my parents would get me a drum set. But they did.
They did?
They actually did.
That's awesome.
And I used it all the time. It was one of my best and favorite gifts I've ever got, and it was so cool. I didn't think they'd get it for me, but they did.
That's awesome. Well, as we read our Bible story today, and I'm just gonna reread what we just read, it's crazy that God says yes to Joshua and gives him what he asked for. So let's read this again. It is in the book of Joshua, chapter 10, starting in verse 12. It says, "On the day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel, Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, 'Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Ajalon.' So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself on its enemies. As it is written in the book of Jashar, the sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down about a full day. There has never been a day like it before or since, a day when the Lord listened to a human being. Surely the Lord was fighting for Israel." Oh my goodness, that's just insane. I love that it says, there's never been a day like it before or since, when the Lord listened to a human being like that. Don't ask God for him to hold the sun still again, because probably not gonna happen again. But he did it for Joshua. That's crazy. Joshua's like, oh, it's getting dark. A little more light, please. But yeah, he wanted the sun to light their battles so that they could see their enemies, and God granted his request, which is just insane. Gavin, do you have any other stories of something that happened to you that was just like mind-blowingly insane that you asked for, maybe didn't ask for because you thought it was too crazy? Or
Yeah, and I know I'm kind of older than you guys are, but I've never been to Disneyland except for, it was last year. But there was a couple from our church, a husband and wife, that gifted me for my birthday a trip to Disneyland. I had never been, and they're like, well, since you haven't been, come on with us. We're gonna go to Disneyland. I was like, no, you're kidding, right? You're kidding. That's a crazy trip. But they took me to Disneyland for my birthday, and it was one of the best days of my life. And that was awesome.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
But the sun went down.
The sun went down, and you're like, God, please, just one more time.
One more hour.
One more hour. I was like, nope, did it for Joshua. We're done with that. Mm-hmm. It's awesome, guys. That actually leads us to our main point with a very fun word, I like to say. Everyone say, audacious.
Audacious.
One more time, audacious.
Audacious.
You have to say it kind of like you're a surfer or skater. Yeah, it's this word that just means like crazy, big. It's just wild. And so our main point today is have audacious faith. The fact that Joshua trusted God so much, he believed in the God of Israel, the one true God, so much. He believed, he had faith that God could do anything, and he asked for anything. He asked for the impossible. And so that doesn't mean, like it says in the Bible, God's probably not gonna do that again. There are some crazy things that God isn't gonna do again, but there are some crazy things that maybe God hasn't done yet, and he could do those things through us, through you. So we want you guys to have audacious faith. We want you to have crazy, wild, epic, amazing, huge, big, gargantuan synonyms. He wants you to have giant faith, audacious faith. So guys, you're gonna talk more about this in your groups right now. Maybe there's some big things you're believing God for. Maybe some things that seem impossible, like keeping the sun up for like another 24 hours. I don't care what it is. God is there with you, just like he was with Joshua. Remember, be strong and courageous. Trust God. Have audacious faith. And talk about that right now in your groups of what can God do in your life right now if you just trust him like Joshua did. Guys, have a great week. We'll see you next time. Have audacious faith.